Hey, welcome back to Medical Terminology. You came back for chapter 2. Now, I know this stuff is not the most engaging content here in the beginning. And it's really, it's not, one of those classes that you really can sink your teeth into and get hands on. But I do think that the content gets more interesting as time goes on and we start learning about the body systems. So, on this chapter and the next chapter, we're going to be focusing on suffixes and prefixes, and then we'll get into some of the meat in the remaining chapters. So it'll get more interesting. But we're going to start talking about suffixes. So your learning objectives for this chapter are to define and spell the suffixes often used in medical terminology, to be able to identify the suffix in medical terms, to use suffixes to build medical terms that pertain to medical specialties, symptoms, and diseases. And let's get started. So a suffix is a word part that's attached to the end of a word root. We talked about this in the previous chapter. And what the suffix does is it modifies the meaning of a term, gives it its purpose, if you will. So some common suffixes. Al, al at the end of a word means it's pertaining to. Same with ick. There are actually, I can't remember off the top of my head right now if it's 9 or 15. I'm pretty sure it's 15. It's called the magic 15. Little suffixes that mean pertaining to. There's just a ton of them, and we'll talk about more as time goes on, I'm sure. Itis means inflammation. Logy is the study of, and meter is a thing that measures. More suffixes. Us, also means pertaining to. Pathy is the study of, right? Oh no, pathy is disease, sorry. Scope is a thing that an instrument used for viewing, and scopy is the process of viewing. So if you add laparo to scopy, laparo means abdomen, scopy means the process of viewing, laparoscopy is the process of viewing the abdomen and specifically the inside of the abdomen. And here's a picture of a laparoscopy in process. So it's a surgical procedure of the abdominal cavity using a laparoscope, which is a tubular instrument inserted into the abdominal cavity. It includes a small camera for viewing the procedure on a monitor and surgical tools for working on internal organs. Pretty cool, right? You can see up there on the screen exactly what they're doing with the laparoscope. So suffixes that indicate an action or a state. Um, so drome, as in the word syndrome, right? Emesis. Emesis means vomiting. I once had a supervisor tell me that emesis meant blood, but that's not true. It doesn't. Malacia means softening. Opsy, like in the term biopsy, means a view of. Oxia means the condition of oxygen, sorry. Um, Phil or philia means a loving or affinity for. In the term hemophilia literally means loving or affinity for blood. It's a condition of uncontrolled blood loss. More suffixes. Phasia. Phasia means swallowing, but phasia is speaking. So although they're spelled almost exactly the same, and they sound really similar, their meanings are very different. Phasia means eating or swallowing. Phasia is speaking. So to help you remember, associate the G in phasia with the G in gastro, or the combining form for stomach, and the S in phasia with the S in speaking. So G is about your stomach, it's eating and swallowing. S is about speaking. Physis means growth. Hypophysis, it means, uh, is the pituitary gland, which is located below the brain. Plegia, like in the term quadriplegia, means paralysis. Oma means tumor. And stasis is a term meaning standing still or being in continual balance. It's the term that is defined as the process of maintaining internal stability despite changes in environment. Suffix that indicate a condition or a disease. Algia is pain. Asthenia means weakness. So the term myasthenia literally means weakness of the muscles. Atresia is a closure or the absence of a normal body opening. So the term hysteratresia is the closure or absence of the uterine cavity. Cell means hernia, swelling, or protrusion. When you add it to the word root meningo, meaning membrane, it builds the word meningocell, which is a hernia of the meninges of the brain or the spinal column that protrudes through an an abnormal opening in the skull or spinal column. Dynia means pain, just like algia. Sometimes they're used interchangeably. Sometimes they kind of go with specific body systems. So tenodynia would be pain in a tendon. So cell, meningo, we just talked about that. Hernia of the membrane, meningocell. Here's a picture of a baby born with spina bifida, which is a large meningocell. So suffixes that indicate a condition or disease. We're still moving on, aren't we? The same thing. Ia means a condition of. So when it's added to the term that means no appetite, we build the term anorexia, which means a condition in which there is no appetite. Osis also means condition of. So in the term adenosis, the word root for gland is included to form the meaning condition of a gland. Another suffix meaning the condition or disease is ism. The combining form albino means white. The term albinism means a condition of white or the lack of skin pigment. The suffix itis means inflammation. You add that to the word root, let's say for stomach, forms the term gastritis, which means inflammation of the stomach. Oma again means tumor. I hope you love repetition because there's all sorts of repetition here in medical terminology. So if you add the suffix oma to the word root for fat or lip, L-I-P, lip, it forms the term lipoma, which means a tumor of fat tissue. Pathy means disease. In terms of neuropathy, neuropathy. It means a disease of the brain or the nerves, more specifically. Penia means deficiency. So deficient or abnormal reduction in the number of. So in the term leukopenia, means white. Leuco meaning white. A leukopenia means a deficiency of white blood cells. More words. Phobia. So the word phobia is fear. So you can be agoraphobic or hydrophobic or claustrophobic. In this case, agoraphobic means fear of the outside. Plasia. In this case, plasia means the growth or formation of. Neoplasia means a new formation or growth. Usually refers to a tumor in that case. Ragia technically literally means bursting forth. If you were to translate that into the Latin, or abnormal discharge. Rhinorrhagia means abnormal discharge of the nose or nosebleed. Rhea refers to discharge. Again, if we use rhino meaning nose, and the term rhinorrhea refers to nasal discharge or runny nose. All of us with allergies right now, we know all about that, right? Rhexis, and I like this one. because it means rupture, and I can remember rhexis, it's wrecked, it's ruptured. An amniorhexis is a rupture of the membrane known as the amnion, which encloses the fetus. The amniotic sac holds the amniotic fluid. Sclerosis is hardening or a condition of hardening. So in the term arteriosclerosis, it refers to hardening of the or of the arterial walls. And spasm indicates a sudden involuntary muscle contraction. So the word bronchospasm indicates a sudden involuntary contraction of the muscular lining of the bronchi. Bronchospasm. Suffixes that indicate location, number, or a quality. So ad means toward. A is a singular form. AE would refer to a plural form. And then emia and hemia both refer to conditions of blood. So here we've got hypo, glyco, and emia. 3 word parts we put together, meaning low blood sugar. And the word, once it's constructed, is hypoglycemia. More suffixes, ac, meaning pertaining to. So does al, ar, airy, ick, and us. So there are a nice handful of those words I was talking about, meaning pertaining to. Suffixes that indicate a medical specialty. So iatry, logist, logi, and practic. So iatry refers to the treatment or specialty of. So podiatry, the treatment or specialty of feet. Logist is one who studies. Logi is the study of. And practic just literally means a practice. Synthesis. So these are suffixes that indicate a procedure or a treatment. So synthesis means the surgical puncture of. Chalasia, classis, or classed refers to something being broken apart. Desis is a fusion. So arthrodesis is a procedure that fuses a joint. Ectomy means surgical removal or excision of. So thyroido and ectomy is surgical excision of the thyroid or thyroidectomy. Here is a picture of a thyroidectomy. A portion of the thyroid gland is undergoing removal in a thyroidectomy procedure. Ew. All right, so suffixes that indicate a procedure or treatment again. There's gram. A gram refers to a recording of something. A graph is the thing that is doing the recording, the instrument for recording. Graphy then is the picture or the process of recording. Meter is for measuring, so a thermometer measures temperature. Metry is the measurement or the process of measuring. Pexy is fixation, so a surgical fixation or suspension. A mastopexy is a surgical fixation or lift of the breast lift. Phlaxis means protection, as in the term prophylaxis, which means protective treatment to prevent disease. Plasty is surgical repair. Raffy is suturing, and the way I remember Raffy is I think of raffia. If you've ever done any crafty projects, especially in the fall, it's like a straw that you use to tie things together. It's called raffia. Scope is the thing you use to look within or a viewing instrument, and scopy is the process of doing the viewing. Okay, finally wrapping it up here, stomy is the surgical creation of an opening. So gastrostomy means the surgical creation of an opening in the stomach. Tomy or T-O-M-E and tomy are closely related. T-O-M-E is a cutting instrument. Tomy is the incision that it makes. Tripsy is surgical crushing, like lithotripsy. And ION again is the process, like ovulation is the process of ovulating. That is it for chapter 2. You've survived. See you in Chapter 3.